Well, every Saturday on this program, I do say that I'm privileged to have some of the guests that I've been bringing on the program. The program is Trailblazers Africa, where we celebrate those that are doing well on the continent of Africa. But interestingly, my guests today have been to almost all the countries in the world. But maybe today he will tell us how many he is yet to visit, because I know through his work, he's been to several countries. He is a friend of many presidents, and it's a privilege to have him on the program today. My name is Moses Owopade. On the program today, I have one time an exile person. He ran away of his country because of certain problems there. Was he running away because he couldn't do anything? No, because someone wanted to kill him. He would tell us who wanted to kill him before he ran out of the country. And when he left, he became what we would call timber and caliber, and the whole world started celebrating him. He is the publisher of the only magazine that travels around the whole world, Ovation magazine. I have Bashorun Dele Momodu in the studio with me, but in Ghana, I'll just say Chief Dele Momodu for you to understand, because the word Bashorun, you might not really understand it. Bashorun, I'd like to welcome you to Trailblazers Africa.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you for inviting me.
Wow, it's interesting to have you. Let our viewers get to know, because what people know is Ovation magazine. Most people don't even know the brain behind Ovation magazine, because you don't really, come out to tell them. Well, your pictures is not always on the front cover page. So, who is Dele Momodu?
Well, the way I like to describe myself is that village boy who was born in the ancient city of Ile-Ife, where the Ghanaians are supposed to have migrated from to Ghana. I was born in Ife in 1960 to very humble parents. My father was a civil servant. He was a road overseer working with the public works department, while my mother was a petty trader selling rice and beans near a prison yard in the ancient city. I did all my education, primary, secondary, university in Ile-Ife. So I can say I was born, bred, buttered, baked, toasted in Ile-Ife. I lost my father when I was only 13, and of course I was left with my poor, illiterate mother to attend to me. Life was so difficult at that time. Things were so bad that even for us to just pay the rent in our house was a problem. But my mother was determined that I would succeed in life, and she ensured that I went to school. I finished my secondary school in 1976. I didn't do too well. I passed with a grade 3, but my mom insisted I must go back, and I did it again. I entered university in 1978 at the age of 18, and I opted to study Yoruba studies at the then University of Ife. I have a bachelor's degree in Yoruba. Thereafter, I went to teach while on national service. I went to teach at the Oyo State College of Arts and Science, also in Ile-Ife. Thereafter, I was a private secretary to the then Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Chief Owo, and so on and so forth. I worked for one of the biggest monarchs in Africa, the Oni of Ife, Oba Kwadeshiju Adeolubushe II, who is just like our own Otunfo here. And I was able to gain a lot of experience. I was able to meet a lot of very big people in society. So thereafter, I went back for my master's degree, and I did a master's in literature in English. I believe I'm the only Nigerian today with such a combination, having a first degree in Yoruba and a master's in literature in English. Thereafter, I went to Lagos in search of greener pastures, and I was fortunate to get a job with a man who was reputed to be probably the wealthiest man in Nigeria and one of the wealthiest in Africa at the time, Chief Moshood Abiola, who owned the Concord newspapers of Nigeria at the time. I worked so hard, and within 2 years, I left Concord and I became the highest paid editor in the whole of Nigeria in 1990 at the age of 30, when I became the editor of Classic magazine. I was with Classic for about 16 months. Then thereafter, I decided to go solo. So I started my own business, and I was doing public relations. I had a company called Celebrities Goodwill Limited, And I had very big accounts, one of them from Chief Abiola himself, from Dr. Mike Adenuga, the chairman of GLO, the Globacom today. So I've known him as far back as 1991. I had a lot of such high-profile clients. In 1992, December, I became the pioneer editor of Leaders and Company, what is today known as This Day newspaper in Nigeria. That's probably the biggest newspaper in Nigeria today. And in 1993, of course, Chief Moshood Abiola went into politics. And naturally, I followed him. He was like an adopted father to me. So I followed him into politics. He ran a presidential campaign, and I was one of his media campaigners. The election held on June 12, 1993, and he won very clearly. It was one of the best elections ever in Nigeria. But the military regime at that time refused. Babangida, General Ibrahim Babangida was in power, and he refused to hand over power to Chief Abiola. Thereafter, there was an interim government which was formed, headed by Chief Ernest Shonekan. And then, a few months down the line, General Sani Abacha did a coup and took over power from the interim national government. Of course, before Babangida left, I was put in detention. I was put in a windowless cell at Alagbon detention camp, where I suffered greatly. After I was released, I still carried on with my campaign for the revalidation of the annulled June 12 election. Of course, by the time Abacha came, Abacha was more vicious than Babangida. I was going to be arrested, charged for treason, and treason was punishable by death. So that's one of the reasons why I had to take off. I got tipped off that I was going to be arrested.
What is take off?
I had to run out of my country.
Well, Chief, I tell you, we'll still get back into why you took off. When you were a child on the street of Ile-Ife, your mom selling rice, did it occur to you that one day I will also become a celebrity, considering the background, no father at the age of 13, nobody to actually assist you except the poor mother who survived through, the sales of rice and beans. I know, maybe dodo, all of that.
The idea of being a celebrity would not have occurred to me because at that time, the concept of celebrity did not exist in my lexicon. But my mother was a prayer warrior. We went to an Aladura church, a spiritual church, where there were always prophecies. And it was always prophesied that I would be a great man. But how that would happen under that condition, I would never have imagined. But we have faith in the good Lord. As I discovered later with Chief Abiola, prayer is hard work in action. That's what he used to tell us.
Prayer is hard work
in action. So you cannot just pray that you want to be great, then you sit down at home, fold your arms, doing nothing. But when you pray, hard work must go with it. And that's one thing I learned from my mother. My mother made sure that I worked very hard. I did all kinds of menial jobs. I was a village teacher at the time, teaching in a village where you had to jump on a cocoa tractor like a caterpillar because normal vehicles could not drive to the village. And when people see me today, they think I was born, with silver spoon. No, I was born without any spoon, not even aluminum. But we knew the value of hard work, and we worked very hard, and I believe God blessed
But sir, at that time, was there anybody you were looking as a role model that, if I could also become like this man, I'll be so glad at that time when hope was against you?
Well, my dream really was not to be a celebrity. My dream was to be a teacher. I loved teaching. I believe that teachers are some of the greatest human beings on earth. Each and every one of us will remember one teacher or the other at one time or the other in our growing up in life. And I wanted to be a teacher. I loved what I saw. Unfortunately, Ile-Ife, where I grew up, was a university town. So the biggest stars at that time were university lecturers. And my brother, my senior brother, is my half-brother, had a PhD from Stanford University in America, came back, and I was living with him. So the people I was seeing around me were the Wole Soyinkas and all that. And I worked in the university library. And that was where I came in contact with a lot of African authors. And it's one of the things that propelled me into doing literature for my master, because I was able to encounter the Kofi Awunos, the Aikwe Amas, the Amata Idus, and the rest of them, all the Chino Achebes. I bought every book by African writers series. And that helped me in life. Is it because then it enabled me to know about languages, how to use words, and today I'm a writer. So you can see that influence. People see me more as a businessman now, but I'm more of a scholar than a businessman.
Wow.
Yes, I love intellectual work. I love to read very voraciously.
Now, the turning point where things started to peak, where would you say it started from?
I would say by the time I got to Lagos and I joined the Concord newspapers.
Okay.
Because, as I said, Chief Abiola was the biggest man in the society. And before long, the man was able to identify me as a good writer. As a matter of fact, I was employed by the African Concord magazine. But the man had about 8 different publications under the same stable. I was writing for 5.
Wow.
I was being paid for 1, but I was writing for 5. I've always been very greedy about work. One thing you can say about me is that I work very hard, I play very hard. I'm able to balance the two. Till today, I'm able to play, but most people see you when you are playing, they don't see you when you are working. When I was in school, a lot of people would not believe I would pass an exam, because every time they saw me, I was playing. But when I'm hiding in my room and I'm working, when I'm on my laptop, nobody sees what I'm doing. And I'm very quick at picking ideas, at doing the things I need to do. I can play for 8 hours, but in the next 2 hours, I would have covered 24 hours. So if you try to copy me in the area of playing, then you are likely to fail, because you're not going to see me when I'm working.
Please don't copy him when you see him play on the street. Anytime he's in a place enjoying himself, please don't copy him. You better go and do something for your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I get home, even if I go to a nightclub, by the time I get home at 4 or 5 a.m., I can go straight to my desk and I just tell my assistant, I say, please can you bring out my laptop? And they know, even if I'm coming from Nigeria, as soon as I land anywhere, if I go to New York, as soon as I get to my hotel, the first thing I'll bring out is my laptop. And I'll start working. I have a lot of telephones, make phone calls, do my business. So I can stay in a room for the next 1 week and you will think I'm doing nothing. Whereas I'm working.
And the thing is coming.
Oh, yes. It comes to me naturally. It's because you must love what you do. You must have a passion.
No, I mean the thing, the money. The money start coming like that too.
That's another secret. You must never make money your priority. Most people fail in life because the only motive they have is money. My motive is not money. My motive in life is a legacy. What will I bequeath to my children? My children today knows that if I die today, I'm not going to bequeath properties to them. What I'm bequeathing to them is more than property. I'm sending them to some of the best schools in the world. My first son today is able to speak Japanese language. He's able to speak Spanish, French, Italian, Latin. And he's not even 17 yet. He's going to be 17 in September. So it tells you the kind of person. So he comes from that intellectual background. And I've taught them, my son will never come here and say, I need 1,000 pounds. Never. I have to teach them that money is not everything. The biggest problem confronting Africa today is that everybody is in a hurry to make it. You can't make it if you are in a hurry.
Now, could it be that your interaction with late Chief MKO Abiola, because I knew most of people that worked with late Chief MKO Abiola, the likes of Dele Alake, your namesake again. I know Aliu Mohammed, he was your far junior, and several others. And all of you are better pledged. Is anything really coined around that tying you with Chief MKO Abiola?
I believe that if you work with a great man, if you are smart and God loves you, you must be great yourself. When I was following Abiola, I wasn't following him for money. A lot of people were following him for money. A lot of people bought houses, bought vehicles. I can tell you that most of the time, I was not even on a salary. I was a disciple, learning from the master. He was the guru. So it's always good to serve your apprenticeship as a disciple. You will see among the disciples of Jesus Christ, you had some who were good. You had some who were bad. Today everybody remembers the name Peter. We also remember the name Judas, but in the negative sense. So for me, with Chief Abiola, I was someone who was always there, and I never betrayed him. If you go to the House of Ovation today, the first portrait you're going to see there is that of Chief Abiola, because I'm eternally grateful to him for the training he gave me. And I believe that has helped me. For a lot of times when I find myself in difficult situations, the first thing I will ask is, how would Chief Abiola have reacted?
Wow.
Yes, and I will find the solution.
This is interesting.
If I go into a country, when you said I'm friends of presidents, I learned that from Chief Abiola took us everywhere. And when we land there, you would think a visiting head of state is in town. Everywhere I went to a country in the Caribbean islands called Commonwealth of Dominica, and the Prime Minister had just suffered a stroke. The first day he resumed work, I was one of the first people he agreed to see in his office. So I had my style. I know what to do. If I come into Ghana and I want to meet anybody, I know the buttons to press. And again, because I've been able to build a global brand, so the name precedes me. So everywhere I go, even if I'm going through immigration, I remember going to Canada about 3-4 years ago, and the immigration officer was busy wasting my time and asking all kinds of questions. And all she had to do was to Google my name, and she saw my pictures jumping at her on her computer, and she called all her colleagues, the man is a celebrity from Africa. So it's good to have a good name. You must build a good name, so it helps you to open any doors.
But it doesn't come by magic. It comes by prayer, which is in hard work. That is in action.
Prayer is hard work in action.
In action. Now let's visit the time of Babangida. Abacha wanted to kill you, and you ran away. How did you escape?
That's very interesting. Well, I got the message on 22nd July 1995 that I was going to be arrested, and I'd never planned to leave outside Nigeria in my life. So the people met my wife. I wasn't at home, and my wife came on the road to wait that I should not go home. And you will not believe it, from that moment to today, I never saw my house again. From that moment, I had to go into hiding, and I went into a bunker like Saddam Hussein. And in that bunker, I now had to plot how to get out of Nigeria. I had to raise money. Fortunately, I had a multiple visa to London on my passport. So I disguised early in the morning, about 5 a.m., and we took off for Sebeboda, from where we went into Cotonou. So I had 3 friends with me. One was carrying my bag, one had my money, another one had my passport, and I was just going in front, dressed like a farmer going into his farm. And I just strolled across, and then when I crossed, then I looked back at Nigeria and I started crying, like, God, where am I going? When am I going to get there? Will I ever get there? Will I come back alive? All kinds of, thoughts were coming through me, what we call stream of consciousness in literature. And I was just crying. And that was the day I came to Ghana. That was my first time in Ghana. And I got here 25th of July